So we've been in this studio now for going on like 5 months, and I think it started to feel like home. And there have been 2 backdrops essentially that we've had to work with in videos. There's the community one, which you've just seen there with your beautiful artworks. This is what I'm going to call the creative backdrop. The initial concept, when I first revealed it, was unfinished because I did initially always intend to have art supplies as a prop in front of it. That's actually what this is, and we'll get to that in a moment. But the purpose of this video is actually to get your feedback on a couple of things. That is one of them, and we'll get to that in a moment. But the other is around this way. This big wall here has just been finished. Now, when I say finished, I mean like the foundation. I was initially going to do what's called a cyclorama, like a big green screen wall thing that's like wall to floor and stuff, but it felt like less useful in practice. But I think I also came to realize that the 2 spaces I've been working with are more like backdrops and less like sets. So the concept was, of course, that I could use them for different things, and that I have been, and it's been awesome. But it's really been about framing sort of front on, or just having a little bit of that thing. I really realized that for this space, it'd be cool to have something that feels a bit more like a room. And that's where you come in. I knew I wanted something with a bit of texture, something that feels a bit studio-ish and cool, a little industrial. That's why I went with the brick. And I have some other ideas, but I really want to get your ideas. I'm going to put my drums here, and they're going to stay there. They're not going anywhere. But I want the space, this corner, to feel more like a room and less like a backdrop, if that makes sense. So I've had some ideas. I'm going to sketch some on my computer in just a moment, but I want to put a few key things in place to start getting the ideas rolling, and then I want to pass it off to you guys to help me out with some concepts of your own to see what we can do with this space. Because you see, when I did these 2, it was all in secret. I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted the big creative burst of color. I wanted the community set with all of your stuff, and it was a big surprise. It was like, hey, this is our new home, and this is what I had planned. But this I don't have anything planned. And I think it's actually something now I'm realizing I really think would be fun to get your ideas from and pick all my favorites and take everyone's creativity. So we'll do a hashtag. I want to see your entries and all that stuff. We'll get to that later. First, I need to set up my baby. Oh, what are you caught on? That's all right. It's very graceful footage. So this is really the foundation. That's the only that's the essential. I'm just gonna be straight with you. It's got to be there. Anyway, now there are some props you can use, but I am also open to suggesting stuff for me to get. If you think a certain beanbag or a cool armchair or a certain type of shelf, or even like some custom signage or whatever, like you can pitch some stuff to me, and if stuff seems to look and work really cool, I might get it, I might make it, I might buy it or commission it, I don't know, I'll figure it out. But I want to make it as cool as possible, and I'm looking forward to your ideas. But the props that we have to work with, I have this easel. I think that could definitely go in with a bit of an art studio vibe. I'm also like tempted to like do the industrial thing and like build some fake like steel like vertical supports to make it look like a warehouse. I got this is, well, not just that. That's a base, just give me a second. So just this giant desk lamp. That I got this when we put the studio together. It was on sale. I didn't know where I'd put it. Turns out it was destiny. I think against the white brick wall. I think that looks pretty cool. That could be something you incorporate into your design. It takes up a lot of space. Could go in the background. I don't know. Just a thought. You don't have to include it. You don't have to include all this stuff. This is just what we have to work with. I have a guitar, but that's, I mean, you include too much music stuff in it. People think it's a music channel, which it's not. Unless you want it to be. It would be a bad music channel, you probably don't want that. We've got some pictures and stuff, and that also brings in mind, I should mention, where those backdrops come down, that is the limit of where we can go. But actually, we do have sort of 2 walls to work with. So we can hang some stuff up, we can have some shelves, we can do whatever. So this is the 3 million dots picture that could go somewhere, maybe not, depends what you guys think. These haven't gone up. These have been in storage since the old studio. And I do feel like they should go somewhere. And I do feel like maybe we're finding the home somewhere here. Let me know. Now it's worth mentioning there are 2 primary intentions of using the space, other than the fact that it's not just a flat backdrop. One is a place to showcase more of my art and sculptures and stuff that are from previous videos. That was sort of the point of that space over there, but as you can see, there's not a huge amount of space and the projects are not getting any smaller. The second intention for the space is to actually have space to work in. I guess with the two that I have so far feeling a bit like backdrops, this I want to feel a bit more like a room, so that when we film, I can like move around and I can bring art supplies over here, or maybe have one part happen over there and another over here. I'm getting a little bit frazzled, but you get the idea. It could have like an art nook vibe, an industrial art studio vibe, an art room at school vibe. What do you think? I don't know. I have some thoughts. You probably have some cool ones too, and I can't wait to see what they are. I've got some photos of the blank canvas space that I've put in the description. You're welcome to download, sketch on, and use the hashtag JAZZA'S. So use the photos as a blank sort of base if you're doing some digital artworks or sketches. If you're doing traditional, that's fine. You can sketch up the space and the brick wall and stuff and just share your ideas and take a photo. Use the hashtag. I'll be mainly looking on Twitter. You can put them on Instagram, but if you want to make sure I see them, definitely put them on Twitter with the hashtag JAZZA'S, and I'll see your suggestions and I'll show you the sort of thing that I mean. Okay, so this is the picture. This is what you all have to work from, and there are two versions of this image. One just like this without any measurements, and the other with some measurements, so you can get an idea as to what you can fit in it. This isn't a competition or anything official. There's no prizes up for grabs aside from the fact that you might actually have an impact on the future of this space, of this studio. And of course, I will be, when I'm putting it all together and turning it into a video inevitably on when I put that space together, I'll be going through your entries, and some of you who make some really cool stuff will get a little bit of love in the video. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You can Photoshop in photos. Now I'm just gonna do this as a really, really rough example to give you a rough idea as to what I was sort of having in mind. And I think I mentioned this before, doing one of those like steel vertical beam things. And if I did this, I might paint it to look metallic, but I don't know if that makes it feel too small and enclosed. Let me know your thoughts. I definitely think the easel has to be in there. I don't know where though, so I didn't actually put it in the photo. I thought you could have a bit of fun with that, but we do a lot of painting and I think it definitely needs to be in here and look like it's at home here. And I think something to keep in mind is color and just sort of visual breaking up of the space. So maybe there's gonna be a little bit of a pot planty tree thing here. Bit of nature. There's a fern. Look at my fern. Ha! And again, bring it back to measurements. We have 2.9 meters, so almost 3 meters here. So I guess behind there we could have like a, let's say this is like a 1.8-ish meter shelf. Those of you who want me to convert this to the metric system, you can go shove something up your bottom, because the metric system is dumb. Objectively dumb. Wait, did I get it the wrong way around? I did. Did I just insult myself? Wait, metric system and imperial system. It's imperial system, isn't it? Metric is the good one. Oh no! Ah! I have made myself look like such a fool. Almost as much of a fool as the people who use the bloody imperial system. Now we can get creative here. This isn't just a matter of coming up with where furniture might go or suggesting some things like that. You can actually be a little crazy, and you can be much crazier than I'm being here. But let's say you like the idea of there being like a giant, like, I don't know, like a giant paintbrush like sign here. Maybe we could go a little more branded. Maybe we could do a big Jazza face. I think something I'm gonna find really important is that whatever it is, it looks really nice as a room and behind, you know, stuff. So maybe the big head doesn't work ideally, but I'm just getting the point across. I think that you can be a bit creative. But maybe we get a custom neon sign that's a little more like handwriting that looks like, you know, draw with Jazza. I don't know, that could be a cool thing. I mean, it could be very on brand to do like some paint splat like sign things that look three-dimensional and cool in front of the backdrop. And the great thing about paint splats is they're really easy. They could just look messy and it's just like, ooh, so creative. Ooh, much art. Such creativity. I mean, that could be a concept. This is a very, very rough version, but I'm just sort of getting the point across. You could do it this rough and just spitball an idea that you think would work, or if you really want to get carried away, you could 3D render and just go ballistic and totally reconstruct the scene. I can't wait to see what you come up with. It's totally open to you to just play around with, and you can enter as many times as you want just to get me your ideas, but I can't wait to see what you come up with. And that's the invitation. Have a play, have fun, and you might leave your mark on my studio forever. So I mentioned I'd get back to this. This is the frame that is going to hold the giant art supplies I'm going to build in a future video. I have to sculpt them and paint them and all that stuff. I'm not 100% sure what they would be. I have a rough idea, but I'm willing to take your feedback. So we have 8 art supplies. They have to be the long and fairly symmetrical shaped kind, so it looks nice. I think the middle 2 should be like pencil and brush. I feel like that makes the most sense, but I'm also pretty flexible on the order and color or whatever of the rest. And I think it'd be interesting, especially for those of you who may not feel so artistic to create sketches of the space over there. You can give me some suggestions on what sort of art supplies and in what order I could do this with. Go through the comments. You can leave one yourself, but you can also just go through and see what you think would look the best and upvote it, because I will obviously pay the most attention to the ones that get the most upvotes. I like variety, so maybe like a crayon, maybe a ruler, maybe an alcohol marker. I don't know. To be honest, the reason for making this video is I'm really excited about the fact that I'm doing something quite big and new with the studio, but this time I can include you in it. It was all a big secret before, but this time, this can be our project, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Again, the hashtag, the instructions and the pictures are all in the description, and if you want to give your suggestions for the 8 art supplies ordered left to right, then I'll go have a look at those as well. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for watching, being a part of this community. Hope you have a bit of fun playing around with me, and I look forward to seeing what this ends up looking like. Don't have high hopes for how soon this will happen. It might take a while. It's an iterative process, but I look forward to getting started with you.